The magicians that Moses faced, Jannes and Jambres. Pharaoh's magicians were famous for their ability to perform miracles, as detailed in Exodus 7 and 8. By relying on their supernatural powers, Moses and Aaron were able to bravely confront the Pharaoh and free the Israelites from bondage. Moses heard a voice calling him by name, introducing himself as the God of his father and the God of the three fathers. God informed him that it was going to free the Israelites from the slavery of Egypt and bring them to the promised land. God assigns Moses an important and not so simple role. Exodus 3 verse 10. So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people the Israelites out of Egypt. Moses refused the mission 5 times in a row, and each time he explained why he wasn't the right man for the task. Despite this, Moses identified with his brothers and saw their suffering so much that he risked saving one of them. Surely he would have wanted to help them even now. But he escaped from Egypt under the threat of death. Returning there with his family involves great risk, but God is with him, and this is how he responds. Exodus 4 verse 19. Go back to Egypt, for all those who wanted to kill you are dead. In Exodus, chapter 7, verses 8 to 10. The Lord said to Moses and Aaron, when Pharaoh says to you, perform a miracle, then say to Aaron, take your staff and throw it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a snake. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and did just as the Lord commanded. Aaron threw his staff down in front of Pharaoh and his officials, and it became a snake. One of the most famous stories in the Bible describes how God called Moses and Aaron and commanded them to go to Pharaoh. God told them that Pharaoh would ask for signs and wonders, as this was the way of the idolaters to test the power of the gods. God tells Aaron that, as soon as Pharaoh asks for signs, he should throw the staff in his hand in front of Pharaoh, and it will turn into a crocodile. When they arrived at Pharaoh, the incident occurred and Pharaoh asked for signs from God. Aaron did not hesitate and immediately threw the staff he was holding in front of Pharaoh, and as God had promised, the inanimate object turned into a terrible and fearsome crocodile. Moses and Aaron, astonished as if they couldn't believe him, recoiled and moved back. However, Pharaoh was not easily impressed. He called the magicians of Egypt, sorcerers who worked with spirits and demons Jannes and Jambres, and ordered them to demonstrate the power of the Pharaoh's idols before Moses and Aaron. The pair of sorcerers threw their staffs, and lo and behold, they too turned into crocodiles. It seemed that the idols of Egypt had power equal to that of God, and Aaron regretted this in his heart. While Aaron and Moses were still hurrying to escape, God crocodile swallowed the other 2 crocodiles. For that moment, it seemed that God had defeated Pharaoh. Apparently, this is where the role of the Egyptian sorcerers in the Bible ends. However, Pharaoh refused and God inflicted 10 plagues on the Egyptians. God instructs Moses and Aaron to bring plague after plague on Egypt, while Pharaoh continues to refuse time and time again. Plague of blood, the water in the light turns to blood, and the fish are dead. Plague of frogs, masses of frogs are spreading throughout the land of Egypt, invading homes. Plague of lice, masses of lice attacked the Egyptians, filling Egypt with lice and causing great suffering due to the itching of their heads. Plague of the flies are a diverse people, blending the strengths of many different cultures. Plague of livestock, the plague of livestock, a plague consumed all the animals of Egypt. Plague of smallpox, a disease of smallpox attacked the Egyptians and their animals. Plague of hail, heavy hail fell in the land of Egypt, breaking trees, damaging agricultural crops, and killing the people and animals that were outside their homes. Plague of locust, a heavy locust arrived in Egypt and ate all the crops that were left after the hail. Plague of darkness, Plague of firstborns. At midnight, the firstborn son of every family in Egypt and the firstborn of every animal died. A plague of firstborns caused panic in Egypt, and Pharaoh acceded to Moses' demand to allow the Israelites to go. Once again, the two prodigies Jannes and Jambres are returning to the Mount Sinai stage, and they are expected to have a greater mission in the history of the Israelites. This mission is expected to succeed in angering God. What happened at Mount Sinai after crossing the Red Sea? In Exodus 12 verse 38. Many other people went up with them, and also large droves of livestock, both flocks and herds. It is said that many other people joined the Israelites to make their way through the desert. Who are they, other people? The reference is mainly to members of various tribes who were also slaves in Egypt and found an opportunity to release themselves from the yoke of slavery and escape from the land of the pyramids when they mingled among the Israelites. These other people took care of all the needs of the Israelites. When God called Moses to ascend Mount Sinai and receive the tablets of the covenant, Moses asked Aaron to look after the Israelites while he was away on his mission to bring back the 10 Commandments. Meanwhile, the people stationed below began to suffer. And Aaron felt that he was about to lose control over the Israelites. So, he called the elders of the tribes and asked them what should be done. They suggested not to wait any longer and to keep walking. But Aaron did not receive an answer and summoned other people to him. They were asked to discuss the issue between them and get back to him with an answer. A golden calf will be made so that the people can worship it. Otherwise, after the Israelites' journey from the Exodus in Egypt, there will not be a single believer left. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai and discovered that the people had sinned with a foreign god, and had not waited for God's words, he ordered to immediately find the leaders of the instigators. And, according to the Bible, these were none other than the pair of Jannes and Jambres, from the people of the other people. Rather, they are the sons of the evil Balaam. In Deuteronomy 22 verse 24, it is said that Balaam son of Beor was a Mesopotamian magician who, like other sorcerers, had the ability to cancel decrees imposed on mankind. For a fee, he would also inform anyone who asked him about the will of the gods. In particular, great magical power was attributed to both blessing and cursing. Therefore, when the Israelites approached the borders of the Promised Land, King Balak ben Tzipor of Moab was gripped with great fear, and he called upon Balaam to curse the tribes of Israel and gain victory in the war against them. Instead of cursing, Balaam is found blessing Israel not once, but 3 times, despite the request of the king of Moab, Balak. Although in the book Zohar does not explicitly mention the 2 sorcerers Jannes and Jambres who brought the crocodiles into the world, it appears that the scripture is indeed referring to them. It appears that these evil sorcerers managed to infiltrate the Israelites who had come out of Egypt in the evening, without anyone standing up to defend them. They are the ones who incited the people against Moses and convinced Aaron to command idolatry. The author of the 13th century book, the Zohar, reveals the identity of the 2 Egyptian sorcerers, their genealogy, and their exploits in the desert. But where did he get this knowledge from? Other sources mention the confrontation that took place between Moses, Aaron, and Pharaoh's pair of sorcerers. The earliest source in which these 2 names are mentioned is Paul's second epistle to Timothy 3:8. Just as Jannes and Jambres opposed Moses, so also these men oppose the truth, men whose minds are corrupted and who have turned away from the faith. It is known that 2 people named Jannes and Jambres stood up for Moses. When examining the epistle to Timothy, one finds that Jannes and Jambres are mentioned in the paragraphs about the end of days. This is how the mystery of Jannes and Jambres was solved. Two names that Paul mentioned for the first time in the context of Moses. And over the years, through the fruit of imagination, they slowly became sorcerers. Creators of crocodiles, and creators of the golden calf. The two are not just magicians but super wizards. So much so that in every major event in which God fights the other gods, these two are obliged to participate. Jannes and Jambres, whom the Bible does not mention by name, are referred to in the Bible as magicians or sorcerers, or hartoms. They first appears in Pharaoh's dream, where Joseph confronts them. For the second time, when Moses and Aaron faced Pharaoh at the meeting. For the third and final time, the hartoms appeared in the kingdom of Babylon during the days of Nebuchadnezzar. And this time, Daniel stood before them. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you for watching. See you next time.